So, Basic Fun WrestleFest isn't good. Color me shocked. What's going on, ladies and gents? It's your boy MikeOfAllTrades. Welcome to the channel. Today, I'm going to share my own personal thoughts, feelings, opinions, and outlook on this whole WrestleFest debacle. But yeah, so let me just come out by saying this. It's hard to see a new product come out in the home arcade space and then it nosedive like off of a cliff. You know what I mean? Like, not only did it nosedive off of a cliff, but somebody put a flaming bag of poop inside of it, lit it on fire, and then sent it down. It's kind of what's happening with WrestleFest right now, with the Ultra Series version of the WWE Wrestlefest Cabinet. For those who don't know, Basic Fun has been putting out little mini arcade cabinets, arcade classics, or what they're called, you know, Tetris, console versions of Mortal Kombat, and things of that nature. And they've been doing this for years, right? But they decided to get into the 3/4 scale game. So with them making 3/4 scales, there were leaks of Centipede, which they showed, Return to Jedi, which they showed, and WWE Wrestlefest. Not WWF Wrestlefest, WWE Wrestlefest. And I have to say it like that because it's essentially what this is. This is WWE Wrestlefest. They did a very, very, very piss poor job of relaying information to the point to where P-Dub's Arcade Lock had to email them and get confirmation of Sergeant Slaughter and LOD missing from the roster, because on a live stream, James Hates Everything pointed out that they weren't on the side art, you know. But that notwithstanding, it was known about in advance. Now, what people can gripe about and they didn't know was that Macho Man was going to be taken off of WWF Superstars, along with Andre the Giant. So, two of the main draws for the cabinet, WrestleFest and Superstars, are both modified ROMs. Now, in a 3/4 scale space, we can't say anything about not having modified ROMs, because remember, Fast and Furious was turned into a hodgepodge of both the original and Tokyo Drift. But that was because of licensing, just like this is. The only difference is the gameplay wasn't really impacted. Like, there were stages that were removed. There were cars that were combined. So I guess, yeah, it really was impacted. But that was more of a licensing thing, and that was more on the side of Raw Thrills, because they couldn't get the licenses. Okay, cool. With WrestleFest, it's a different story, because you don't get to fight LOD at the end like you're supposed to. On Superstars, you don't get to fight Andre the Giant, and all mention of Andre the Giant is gone. And for Superstars, there were only 6 active wrestlers on that game that you could play with. And now you're down to 5. That's cutting 16% of the active roster on the game. Same thing with WrestleFest. You're taking away 75% of the active roster. Now, some people might care, some people might not care. I'm in the camp of, I can still play with Ted DiBiase. I can still play with Jake the Snake. I can still play with Ultimate Warrior, you know. And let's be real, there are other ways to play this game if I was really that invested, right? But it's kind of weird, because it's almost like we're back to 2019. Y'all remember back in 2019 when Arcade 1-Up came out? You know what I'm saying? They made their debut. At least this is when I discovered them. And they were making 3/4 scale cabinets. No lit up marquee, no online, 3 games, panels wearing off, etc., right? And it's almost like we're back to that again, you know. This cabinet retails at $5.99. Right now, there's a promotion where you can use a coupon and get it for $100 off on Amazon for $4.99. Okay. But this is outside the period, and I think the period lasts until, I think, the first or second week in November. But after that, $5.99. So it's like a early bird special, right? And it's got the bells and whistles. It's got the marquee that y'all are used to seeing without the dark blacks and whatever else. It's got a 17-inch BOE monitor using the same kind of PCB, which apparently does not have a micro USB slot on it, or a port, I should say, not a slot, a port. That's been removed and whatever else, right? Basic stuff that you would see. It's weird because they're putting the cabinet out, but it's gone backwards from what you're used to, because it's literally a deluxe. It's a little thinner than a deluxe, but it's a deluxe cabinet. Okay. And people are buying it, and people want to buy it because it's, for lack of a better term, it's a new game. It's something new that people can put into their home arcades. Yes, it's a replica, you know what I mean? And yes, it might look good sitting next to something. But the thing is, I sit back and I've just been sitting and I've been watching, and there's all this outrage. I understand that if you're a common person, a consumer who maybe just stumbling across WrestleFest videos for the first time and you don't know anything about this, you know, I believe that if you're purchasing something, you should always do your research, and you should listen to 3 people. Listen to someone who's a bigger YouTuber who's doing reviews, someone who's smaller to get their opinion, and then a reviewer that you trust. That's the way you should always look at a product review when you're watching something. 3 different opinions, and if they're all kind of saying the same thing, then it's on the same page. You know what I mean? Like, it's pretty much the same thoughts, right? But seeing videos and clips of the panel peeling and, you know what I mean, like, just pictures of the marquee and stuff, and like stuff that it's cosmetic, you know, but it matters because you're spending that amount of money on it. And because of this, we're instantly back in the trap. Replace the sticks, replace the buttons, putting in a Raspberry Pi or a PC, putting the actual ROM in the game and emulating it that way. Yes, this is emulation. Like, if you're not playing off a PCB, off of an arcade, it's emulation. Like, let's keep it a buck, right? And there's like all these changes that people are already wanting to make, and I'm like, I hear people say this stuff, and I'm just like, are we back with ETA Prime? Are we remodding arcade one-up cabinets? You know what I mean? Like, I don't get it. You know, nothing against Basic Fun. Hey, get your bag. People are willing to pay for it. Get your bag. But asking people to pay $5.99 for less, you know, I mean, I know Arcade 1-Up's not in the best position right now with Mortal Kombat and NBA Jam and Golden Tee and Pac-Man and Miss Pac-Man, right? But at least some of the stuff that you would pay for and that you would make concessions on, you're still at least getting a decent product. And I use the word decent. I'm not saying great. I'm not saying outstanding. I'm not advocating for Slimcades or anything of that nature. I'm saying the word decent. I think what bothers me about this whole thing is that, like, people are like, I think it's the mentality that people are just like willing to accept it. They're willing to accept crap and be like, oh, well, you can just take this and we can do this, this, and this. And then by the time that you're done dumping money into it, you've almost spent as much money as you could have buying an old cabinet and just doing a little bit of work and restoring it. I know, I just did it, right? But like, are as a community, the 3/4 scale community, are you really okay with going backwards? Are you really okay with just modding it? You know, because let's be real, if you wanted a shelf, or you wanted a shelf just for WrestleFest, you could order skins. You could order the vinyls and then just buy a base cabinet. Like, here, I'll tap this one. You could buy a base cabinet like this and then just make it yourself. All this does when people buy this cabinet, right? All this does is reaffirm to these companies that, hey, we can put out crap. They'll eat it, and we get away with the bread scot-free. I think we're far enough in this time where we're not in COVID anymore. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have to accept mediocrity. And granted, yes, when people are like, oh, they can't get the license, bro, somehow Retromania Wrestling got the license for LOD and Macho Man. And anybody who's been following Retromania Wrestling knows, dude, those cats have no money. Okay, they push back DLC. Remember when Curtis Hughes and Chris Bay and Jane Storm was all supposed to come out in like the first year, and it didn't. But they were able to get licenses. And even wrestlers withstanding and removing wrestlers fine. But the gameplay should be on point. And then you've got glitches and whatever else. You know what I mean? Like, remove people, fine. But make sure your game performs. But then when you look at the advertisements of this thing, the first thing that it lists off, literally the first thing that you see on their flyer, authentic gameplay. So apparently graphics, joysticks, buttons, and sounds qualify as authentic gameplay. So that means I can take an RGB strip, put it around a box, put some buttons on it, and it's authentic, right? And then a selling point, I kid y'all not, a selling point is the AC adapter. Like what are we doing here? Look, if y'all spend the money, that's up to y'all. I mean, if anybody got this cabinet for free and they do a review or whatever else, I would hope that they disclose it. You know what I mean? For all the people that were complaining or that complain that, oh, well, we haven't seen anything from Iconic Arcade yet, right? That's a good thing. I think that's a good thing because that means they're working on it. You can get paid, like get hustled. I mean, or you could, we don't know. But at least you know, with people like John who are working with it, who's experienced with the 3/4 scale community, you know what I'm saying, and Media One Up, they know what to show and what not to show. I mean, they can reveal like, okay, here, there's this, and this. If anything, y'all should be mad at Basic Fun for not communicating. And I'm gonna give the kind of a benefit of a doubt because Cyrus apparently just got there, but Cyrus is experienced enough to know that to be like, hey, we should go on this Amazon listing, and we should state this is different, this is different, this is different. Or hey, when you put your YouTube trailer up on the Basic Fun channel, this is different, this is different, this is different. For anyone who bought the cabinet, I hope that you were happy with it. I hope you're satisfied with it. If you haven't seen a review, I've seen, like I said, Kelso's Arcade has a whole 34-minute review on it. And I watched it. You know what I'm saying? Go check it out if you have any questions about that, because I don't own the cabinet. Unless this thing goes on Whoop and it goes down to like $200 or something, I'm not owning the cabinet. And I love WrestleFest. But there's so many ways I can play WrestleFest. I can play WrestleFest on my Raspberry Pi. I can play WrestleFest on Fightcade. If you want to play people online on WWE WrestleFest with the full roster, you can play it on Fightcade. Hell, I might just run a WWF WrestleFest tournament on the Back Alley channel. There's ways to really play stuff. A lot of y'all have at Game Legends Ultimates. I'm sure y'all have them loaded up on there. Like, let's not act like you couldn't play the game. It's just you wanted a skin and you wanted a shell. And you were hoping that, you know what I'm saying? And some of y'all might have the hope where if you buy from a new company and you support their product, maybe you'll get the game that you want. You know, it's kind of like how it was with Arcade 1-Up. You know, if we buy enough Pac-Man and Mortal Kombat, we'll get Robotron. Or if we buy enough Street Fighter and Galaga, we'll get, I don't know, insert your favorite title here. That's essentially what it's come down to. But hey, if you got the money to throw away, go for it. Me, I'm gonna watch on the sidelines. But let me know in the comments if you guys picked this up, if you thought about picking it up, if you're still thinking about picking it up after everything that you were fearing or not fearing came to fruition. I'm MikeOfAllTrades. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're not. As we're making our way to 5K. Yeah, we're gonna make some content. Thank you guys for watching, and if you think that you yourself cannot restore a cabinet, go watch that video, because I am a noob and I did it. Deuces, ooses.